Welcome to this explainer. So today, we're skipping the boring spreadsheets and the strict budgets. Instead, we're diving headfirst into a, well, kind of hilarious and slightly painful personal experiment. We're looking at exactly why trying to trick your brain into spending less usually just blows up in your face. If you've ever set out to save some money only to find yourself inexplicably buying things you literally don't even need, you are going to absolutely relate to this.
Okay, so the challenge itself sounded ridiculously simple, right? 24 hours, $0 spent, not a single cent. Honestly, for most of us, it feels like this minor test of willpower that anyone with even a tiny bit of self-discipline should be able to clear without breaking a sweat. You just tell yourself, hey, I simply won't buy anything today. But as you'll see, the gap between our logical intentions and what our brain actually permits us to do, it is absolutely massive.
$0. We always start these experiments so incredibly confident. We think spending is just this purely conscious choice. Just lock the wallet away in a drawer and the money stays put, right? It's beautiful, clean logic. But the human brain is anything but clean. It operates on these deep-seated routines and comfort mechanisms, constantly searching for little dopamine hits that we barely even notice until we actually try to turn them off.
Now, to survive this challenge, the strategy wasn't just relying on sheer willpower. Oh no. The approach was to build an entire defense system of psychological saving tricks, creating literal roadblocks to stop those impulses dead in their tracks. The goal here wasn't just to logically say no, but to make it physically and psychologically exhausting to say yes.
So, the arsenal came down to 5 key tactics. First, putting cash in an envelope to make the money finite. Second, deleting every single one-click shopping app from the phone. Third, enforcing a brutal 24-hour waiting period for any purchase. Fourth, downsizing to a tiny wallet. And fifth, obsessively watching the price before buying anything. On paper, this is an impenetrable defense.
With all these friction points perfectly in place, the setup makes you feel completely invincible. You assume you've finally outsmarted the system and, more importantly, your own bad habits. You really expect to just sail through the day completely untouched by the endless marketing machine all around us. It totally feels like you've hacked your own psychology.
But here comes the bomb drop. Are you ready for this? Trying to enforce these strict tricks actually resulted in spending more money. Yeah, it completely backfired. These rigid restrictions triggered a massive subconscious rebellion. The very tools that were designed to protect the wallet actually became the weapons that emptied it.
This right here is the ultimate spending plot twist. See, when you tell your brain it absolutely cannot have something, it instantly becomes the most desirable object in the entire universe. It's the scarcity mindset in full effect. It's exactly like a strict diet, right? Banning all sugar basically guarantees you're going to eventually eat an entire cake. By hyper-focusing on not spending, we accidentally hyper-focus the brain on consumption.
So it turns out it's not really you versus the store, or you versus some brilliant marketer. It's an internal tug of war. On side A, you've got you, the logical brain desperately trying to enforce the budget. And on side B, your brain, the primal side aggressively pulling toward instant gratification. And let me tell you, that primal brain, it doesn't care about your little envelope system or your carefully laid out 24-hour rules. It just wants what it wants right now.
And because of that, you totally lose control. When the brain feels trapped, it just builds up pressure until it inevitably explodes. You might have proudly deleted those shopping apps, but suddenly you find yourself opening up your laptop at 11 p.m. just looking. And before you know it, you've bought 3 things just to reward yourself for your good behavior earlier. We have all been there, right? Rationalizing some ridiculous purchase just because we saved $5 earlier in the day.
Now, this complete loss of control doesn't happen in a vacuum. It's hijacked by hidden spending triggers everywhere around us. It's the smell of a bakery when you forgot to pack lunch, or, a perfectly targeted ad hitting you right when you're super stressed out. These triggers secretly bypass your logic completely. They instantly turn a casual want into an absolute biological need.
And so the grand experiment ends with a pretty brutal reality check. The $0 day, a massive failure. It absolutely proves that relying on restrictive gimmicks without really understanding the deep-seated psychological drivers of our spending is just a recipe for a completely empty wallet. The failure wasn't because the tricks were weak. It was because we severely underestimated just how clever our own minds really are.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this one final thought. You truly do not realize how heavily your brain relies on the act of spending, whether that's for comfort, a quick dopamine hit, or honestly just to get through the day, until you try to completely stop. It forces you to confront all those hidden habits running quietly in the background of your life. So take a look at your own routines. Could you survive the $0 day?